Hello and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my second ever deep dive series. This was not originally planned as part of my deep dive series, but then I got questioned about Onision, made my first video, jumped down that rabbit hole, and well, here we are. The deep dive, the wonderful world, or not the wonderful, the strange world of Onision, or it's going to be the strange world of Onision, or it's going to be the Onision effect. I'm not sure which yet, just like I'm not entirely sure how many episodes there are going to be. This is literally a work in progress as we go day by day, so we're gonna see how this works out, because even as I'm doing this video, I completely am refilming the first two, because I've just gained in the past hour so much more information, and there's just so much to discuss and talk about. And I firmly believe in exposing him and keeping him in the news, even if it does, in the short term, gain him more views with his meltdowns. I do think that keeping him in the spotlight and reminding people who he is extremely important. He has a history and a pattern of getting caught doing bad things, calming down for a while, creating weird videos to distract, and then going right back to what he's doing. In fact, he deleted his Onision forms, which is going to be a totally different video in the deep dive series, several times before when he's got caught doing his bad behavior. But we're going to start this episode with Onision, the early years, childhood, all the way up into his cult. And then we're going to jump into for the second episode, we're going to jump into his relationship with Sky. And the third episode is going to be the early things of his YouTube channel before jumping into Shiloh for the fourth episode. It's going to be a long series, but it is going to cover quite a bit of Onision. We are going to look at everything. We're going to talk about everything. And we're going to make Greg really, really angry, but I don't care. And I know that either Greg or one of his fans is going to come here and be like, you're just doing this for the views. I get more views on my makeups, my movie reviews, and my news videos than I normally do on Onision videos. This is more of me thinking that it's right to keep covering him. Some people on my channel didn't know who he was before. Well, they're going to know a lot now because I knew a lot and I can never unsee this. So, let's start with Greg's early years and go from there, because his childhood does have a lot to do with his, well, you'll see a pattern and I'll explain it. Alright, so let's jump into that. So the first part of the information that I'm getting is going to come from his Wikitubia page. I'm going to talk about the early life and certain things in here, and I'm going to read it, and then we're going to discuss, because, you'll see a pattern in a history, and you'll start to see things over and over again in his patterns and his history, even from childhood. And there are things about him that I didn't even know, and I've done quite a bit of digging into Onision over the past couple of weeks. So, it starts with he's never actually outwardly discussed his birthplace or hometown, but it's believed to be that he was born in or at least lived in Oregon at some point during his upbringing, due to the mentioning going on to school in Oregon. It was later stated on Greg's Uh-Oh Bro channel that he had never lived in Oregon. Another suspected would be Auburn, Washington, given us via archive.org from his old YouTube channel. Okay, so that's not even the important parts. The important parts are what I'm about to read here, and we're gonna discuss this. Greg's parents divorced when he was 2 years old, after his father was convicted of committing a sexual crime against a minor. At age 15, Greg was physically attacked by his father when he strangled him. He retaliated in self-defense by repeatedly kicking his father in the chest. Now, I don't know how much of this is true, unless this was written by Greg, because it seems very, Greg-friendly. So, yeah. Yeah, this seems very, very Greg-friendly. Yeah. So this seems very, very Greg-friendly. So like I said, I don't know how much of this is true, but I do want to talk about this part. In self-defense by Rolie being kicked by, he was afterwards arrested and spent some time in a juvenile prison. A recurring theme in Greg's videos has been his struggle with depression and suicidal thoughts and behavior throughout his life. He has said that he was deeply depressed and suicidal in high school, from which he recovered. He has gone on record stating that he was again depressed and having suicidal thoughts in his adult life. as a result of his ongoing struggle with his personal life. Okay, I want to talk about that whole, like, his dad attacking and strangling him at 15. If this is true, which, like I said, I don't know if it's true or 100%, because I think this is something you can edit on your own, but I want to discuss it. If his dad was outwardly violent when he was a child and you grew up with that amount of violence, it affects your love mapping, how you start to associate love with violence. So that makes sense why everyone talks about Greg's abusive behavior, because it is something, it's a repeated cycle of abuse. It's something that you see and then you repeat because you associate that physical and mental abuse with violence. It is something my own self has had to break the cycle on. My sister has had to break the cycle on, given the history of our father. Our love maps were all, and we picked some horrible men because of it. And in Greg's case, if this is true, he is once again the abused becoming the abuser. Now, that's his very early childhood, from like 2 to 15. He started Siceca, his cult or religion, when he was, I think, 19, because it says that it was started in 2004, and I was 18 in 2006. Greg is 3 years older than me, meaning I would have been 16. He would have been 19. That's just a rough estimate given our age difference. I'm using the Wayback Machine, which I will link down below, and you can check out this creepy cult for yourself. It is all sorts of crazy. Alright, so let's jump into some of his religion, and we're just going to read some of it and talk about it and just be like, what did I just see? Trust me, it's going to be interesting. Okay, so I was wrong. He didn't create it in 2004, and I was wrong about his age. Okay, as a religion, I might be wrong about his age in general. Isn't he 30? I don't know. Okay. Greg created Siceca, the website, in 2003 when he was 17. On the site, he wrote his Siccans believe, a guideline to live by. The site encouraged interaction with Greg through forums where viewers can submit feedback and contributions. Siceca was described by Greg during this time period as an amazing system of facts involving human origins, our future general existence, and discovered the purpose of life and new reality beyond things and all others. Just let that sink in for a minute before we jump into the website itself and I read his opening. Okay. This is where we're going to get real interesting. Okay. The following summary of information is the Siceca site written by Greg. This section is incomplete. Let me go to the Wayback Machine because I'm using his Wikipedia page right now. Let's go to the Wayback Machine because that's way better. Okay, so we're on the Wayback Machine and let's get this started. Okay, so Siceca, when reason ends, so does life. Sounds like something totally Greg would say, right? Okay. Oh my god, I reread this once and I can't believe I'm reading it again. Are you ready? Because, yeah, it's bad. The literary documents provided in the site introduce and evaluate an amazing reality which is now finding homes in millions of informed and hungry minds. At the age of 17, Greg was already delusional. Minds all over the earth for recorded years of humanity. One of the many questions before intrigued minds has revolved around the most important topic of all subjects. What is existence? How do we exist? Are you going to answer that for me, Greg? Siceca has become an answer to a vital question concerning our lives through logical yet amazing facts. Onision, the fact machine. Involving the past, the present world. Those capable of understanding Siceca are already arrogant, and perspectives provided will find the key to many have been searching for. Today, you have the opportunity to observe an alternative mentality, a path divided from the default standards of involving simple beliefs that have been convinced most all one time or another. Existence is seemingly complicated, subject to a few have neared a proper conclusion to define beyond mere and present time. Diversions through methods involving exercise such as dawning human capabilities are oftentimes given freely to avoid confrontation of reality at hand. We have the ability to explain ourselves, and here you will find out how true that statement really is. Convoluted much? Like, what the frack is this shit? Okay, so it took me a minute to get the Wayback Machine working, and I thought we would read some of the stranger things on Greg's website for his religion/cult, and then we're going to talk about personality of like cult leaders and how Onision fits into that, how it also fits into his pattern of abuse with the women in his life. But let's just start with some of this craziness. Okay, so I'm on the Wayback Machine, and we are in the reality behind alien visitations, the truth about our worlds. Somebody's been reading a little too much L. Ron Hubbard and ripping him off. Like, just so you know, Greg is not original in anything that he does, from his cult to his videos. None of it is original. None of it is well thought out. It's all just Greg watering down and taking bits of other things. Okay, our planet is not only a massive life form with the ability to produce smaller, less capable creatures. Amazing amounts of alien abductions and studies have been reported by oftentimes healthy and logical human beings. The abductions are most often of pure study by species in ways more advanced than us. At times, the abduction reports are merely in reality night terrors, otherwise known as sleep paralysis. Yet when actual events do occur, the aliens seek out what not many have been able to comprehend completely. The studies are reaching for a goal in search of what many outsiders fail to understand. Our Earth. Sorry if you hear noises, Maya. What's the matter, baby? What you? Hang on, guys. She is freaking out over a makeup kit. Sorry, she's totally like flipping out. Like the makeup, the container, this is totally freaking her out. Oh no. Oh no. And now she's found one of my beauty blenders. Alright guys, once again, I'm gonna pause this and be right back. It's one of the ones from Amazon. I'm gonna let her destroy it. It's not hurting anything. Okay, so aliens seek out what many of them have been able to comprehend and completely. The studies are reaching for a goal in search of what many outsiders fail to understand. Our Earth produces unseen energies to live with our organic bodies. You're ripping off L. Ron Hubbard, sweetie. His, I can't think of the creatures' names. I can never think of their things' names. But yeah, he's ripping off L. Ron Hubbard. Unseen energies that live within our organic bodies, while outsiders are much like the simplest of our brethren animals. While also having the ability none of us are able to grasp, to learn and remember hundreds of years of their lifespan exceed the common physical human span 4 times. The fact also as an aspect of considering why they have advanced sooner than humans have. The planets some aliens are able to travel from, oftentimes in a perspective, are less compliant with the laws and of positive and negative, and lacking a derivative realm for the corrupt specimens to dwell, as many planets cannot rid themselves of everything they create. Our Earth banned the negative projects it could not destroy to the deviant. And my beauty blender is dead. To the deviant. However, some tend to break through the human psyche during our weakest points. You're literally ripping off L. Ron Hubbard here and watering it down. It is unoriginal. The deviant. However, some tend to break through the human psyche. Okay, where we came from, human beings. The corrupt individual's vibes spread outwards while attracting the other Zion due to unseen energies. L. Ron Hubbard and his weird little things that click to your body, and they're the reason you have physical and mental pain and all that other stuff. This is literally just a cheap, watered down version of that. Oh, it just gets more insane as we go. Like, okay, I got a couple of questions here before we even read any more of this. One, where did you get this information from? Did one of your personalities tell you? Are you trying to tell us you were abducted by aliens and they told you your major plan? Or are you just so godlike, which was probably the answer, you tend to think you're God, that you just figured this all out on your own? This literally sounds like some science fiction made up Bullshit. Alright, let's jump into the afterlife. We'll stop reading there and jump into the afterlife. I'll link it down below and you can read everything for yourself. But the unseen post-living. While human bodies die, the way we lived our lives will decide whether or not we ever occupy a human body again. Scientology. Those who are able to stay pure and deviant in the physical realm are given the opportunity to find a home in a developing body. Scientology. The exceptions measures are taken to save some savants by giving the savant a body which counters their behavior in a past life, or a deviant. Such examples of these are oftentimes when those who spent their lives hurting others emotionally due to their lack of compassion will find themselves in an abusive relationship. So if you're in an abusive relationship, it's because you were a bad person in the past life. So if Onision's abusing you, it's because you were a bad person in the last life. So it's okay. It's okay. You should know you were a bad person and you deserve it. And this is meant to teach you a lesson. Only through this turn on being the receiving end at the age or mindset which would not allow them to contradict or counter fairly. Another example of such a learning experience would be a handicap or disability. A person who picks those physically weak, a person who picks on themselves physically grew in a new perspective or even an astonishing realization that would change them forever. Upon death, a choice is made when we occupy new bodies. Our memory is to be wiped of all of its subconscious, and the soul contrary, we have the option to dwell in the divine for a short while, possibly choosing to watch over our family and friends until we are ready to move past life until the next death. Again, this sounds like a very watered down, twisted version of Scientology. Also, let's get back to the whole handicap thing. So if you're a crappy person, then you're put into a handicapped body, so it's okay to be crappy to you, but because you deserve it? Like, what kind of half delusional crap is this? Hey, no, you don't get mommy's makeup. Sorry, guys. Maya. I mean, this goes into a pattern of Greg liking to blame abuse victims for their own abuse. He will continue to do this through his entire history, and we already see the pattern of this starting at the age of 17. And he's making up a religion to excuse his own bad behavior and blame the victim. So, yay, a young Greg is an absolutely horrific human being, and he hasn't seemed to have outgrown that at all. I'm so excited to keep going. Yay. Ugh. Okay. Our physical minds are powerful enough to create an alternative personalities as we see fit. Whether or not we realize they are split personalities, well, at least we know where Greg gets his split personalities from now. Split personalities is entirely up to the creator of the regarded communication, and in this, an astonishing amount of us seem to drain away the days into doomed hopes and improbable dreams. Much like this, those who believe they are speaking with those in the divine can find themselves sadly mistaken when they encounter conflicts with accuracy and plausibility. What? What is any of this? None of this makes sense, Greg. This is like science fiction, some sadly written, horribly written, sci-fi, fantasy fiction. Oh, Greg, no. Okay. Behavior? Social ethics. We'll jump into behavior next. Behavioral guidelines. Oh, this one was good. Okay. This one's going to be where Greg should take some of his own advice. Okay, this is going to be fun. In society today, we find a large amount of conflicting belief systems, cultures, and general opinions regarding various topics. One of the major problems we find in society is the pressure to use religion as a role in government, non-private schools, and various other organizations. Originally intended to stand absent of any belief system, considering our past and present, Sicecans encourage all followers and associates to only express the beliefs of Siceca. So, don't believe in any other god other than Siceca. because, you know, cult leaders don't like to share their attention with anyone, and I'm sure this would have eventually led, had it taken off, to Greg being a god. Okay. If this is, okay, anyway. Expressively, okay. Seskans encourage all followers and associates to express the beliefs of Siceca. If the first requested by peers, in no way do we wish Seskans to pressure or discomfort those who are not ready for this system of beliefs. No one is ready for this system of beliefs. If someone approached me and said, do you want to join Siceca? And then they tried to, like, show me this, I'd be like, get away from me, you creepy cult. We are not a group that is obsessed over, but rather we are mere messengers of the truth. Unlike other groups relying on faith, ours recognizes reality and has a main purpose to respect the earth we live on. It is the creator of our lives, and in that we realize that we serve, that we are meant one day to provide. So what you're telling me, Greg, is that your religion is based on facts. Greg the Fact Machine, the most honest YouTuber out there, is trying to tell me that this convoluted crap is fact. Fact. That's what Greg is telling you is fact. Remember that this is the most honest YouTuber out there that only deals in facts, and this is the convoluted crap he came up with. Alright, let's go into one more. Sexuality. This should be fun. Alright, let's do this one, and then we're going to discuss Greg as a cult leader and how it goes into his abusive system. Okay, the perspective involving sexuality. People of our history have proven to demote the value of the female gender countless times due to one major factor, physical strength. However, to the contrary, conclusion is held clear in our way of life. Humans were created in two classes, male and female, one to complement the other and mutually do so. However, in making this attempt for companionship, the free will of ego and the common male's desire to dominate came into play. We all know you like to dominate, Greg. Your Twitter is filled with it. Horrifyingly filled with it. However, appreciation of the complexities a woman must go through in order to produce a new physical body are not represented as much in strength in the current world as they are by the masses. In support of both genders, we appreciate both parties for their strengths and their weaknesses. Not all people are created equal, yet by opinion and opposing sexes are beside one another. It's just as often as they are in life and love. A major issue that has been seen around the world for thousands of years, both in the home and in the public, is that those who choose to find love with the same sex instead of opposing, by perspective of many unsympathetic citizens and even major authority figures, this is the way of life seen to be a cancer to society all over the world. Siceca, however, has no concern for sexual preference. Well, at least your religion has no concern for sexual preference, because, you know, your whole throuple thing. By perspective of many unsympathetic authority figures, our focus is on the conservation of the earth and those dwelling on it. Looking over this, all humans with a desire to help are welcome in our cause. No, thank you. I very much have a desire to treat my planet well, along with my fellow human beings. But I have a feeling your idea of treating humans well and my idea of treating humans well are two totally different things. So I think I'm going to pass on your Seskin beliefs. I mean, that wasn't really... It was kind of boring for him. Yeah, I think that we're just gonna... Because when I try to click into the community tab, where I think kind of like his forums began, it just says, name you wish to be called, online address, comments to the Siceca site. Note, you will be included in the mailing list. Note, you will not be included in the mailing list. Spam attacks or otherwise. Revealing your email address is honestly encouraged. And no. Oh my god, I just saw this. All site content and materials are copyrighted to the respective owners and of Siceca.com. Please do not manipulate, duplicate materials from this place without first requesting to do so from the proper authors. AKA Greg, once again, I'm going to tell you, considering this is commentary and this is a kind of an educational thing about your religion, it's very soon. So, yeah. Alright, so let's talk about Greg as a cult leader, as a religious leader, and how that leads into his whole thing. Okay, cults seek to break down, dominate, and completely change who you are. That is the whole thing. They get you in and they use things to break down and to get you into that. And they start with things like love bombing you. They treat you really well. They convince you to join until they get you further in. And then more abusive tactics start. And this is kind of how Greg treats all of his relationships as well. It's like classic most abusers. Greg is very narcissistic. And if you look at his Twitter now, he even says he's God. So, I mean, none of this is surprising. I just wanted you to see how this connects to later. You'll see how his perception of himself and his godlike figure plays into how he treats people now, as well as how he treated people back then. Not as much has changed. Like I said, he's very abusive, he's very narcissistic, he's very good at gaslighting, and he's very good at convincing the people in his life that they're the crazy ones until they walk away, much like a cult, and realize, oh wait, I was being gaslighted and manipulated the whole way through. Why did I join this? Why? Alright, we're gonna go to episode 2, where we go to the Google Doc and we discuss his first wife, Sky, and then we will discuss the starting of his YouTube channel in episode 3, I think. And we will go from there, but I'm only going to post the first 2 episodes tonight and do 2 more episodes tomorrow, and then probably 2 more episodes on Thursday. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be long. Bear with me, but I want as much knowledge about Greg out there as I can find and give you. And yeah, something's not right here, and YouTube needs to do something. Way to go on Patreon for taking him down. Twitter needs to take him down, because something's not right in Greg's brain, and he's damaging a lot of lives. Alright, guys, I will see you later.